My name is Michele Guy. I am actually a resident in, well, not yet, I'm building, in the Rio Verde area. And so I've gotten involved with this. Damon Bruns was here earlier, and he had a commitment, so he left. I am here basically to talk to the fact that Dynamite Water does have an option. Because Dynamite Water is not a public utility, they weren't approached by Director Abino, which makes perfect sense. So he really wasn't aware, even though he lives in the Dynamite area or in the Rio Verde area, that a lot of this was happening behind the scenes. And nor was I, even though I do a lot of work out in Rio Verde. The first letter and notification I got was the 20 days before the Board of Supervisors meeting. And that's when we got really, really active. Damon Bruns has basically served the Rio Verde area for the last 16 years. He's part of the community. And so it just seems natural for him, to come forward and present a solution. It doesn't have to be an individualized solution. It could be in collaboration with the City of Scottsdale. It could be in collaboration with EPCOR. What we are just hoping, and because of my approach, is the fact that we are a community, a Rio Verde Foothills community, and that I feel very strongly that we can all work together to resolve this and provide a win-win situation for everyone. And that's why I've become involved. And Damon, the owner of Dynamite Water, is very much on the same page. So I'm just going to bring a few things to your attention. Since, as I said, Damon has found out about this, he has not stood still. He has been approaching everybody and anybody for water rights to be able to serve this area. And he can have them wheeled through EPCOR. He can have them wheeled through the City of Scottsdale. A lot of the same solutions that EPCOR would bring forward, Dynamite could bring forward as well. Again, if we collaborate, there's an immediate solution. The advantage that Dynamite has is that they have land and they have wells in the Rio Verde area already. Now, of course, they're private wells, so that would be a totally different discussion. What could also be an option, depending on how much sense it makes for everybody, is for the commission to, I don't know how realistic that is for you, since EPCOR already exists, if they come up with a more viable solution. But if not, the Dynamite Water could become its own public utility and basically provide that area, similar to what EPCOR does around the country. The advantage is that Dynamite is a local company, and we want to support our local economy. Commissioner Olson, I think that the spreadsheet that you're looking at, I think is maybe my spreadsheet. And when it says Rio Verde Public Utilities, that's because Damon at Dynamite Water had actually reserved that name, Rio Verde Public Utilities. And so now there's going to be a little bit of confusion because we have EPCOR who has Rio Verde Utilities. So those are the numbers that you were looking at. And that was my cost, my spreadsheet that I prepared to do a comparison between the different options that had been put on the table. But as I said, Damon has the land, he has the experience, he's been providing water to the area for the last 16 years. He also has the financial capacity and the funding if needed. He has equipment, trucks, tankers, and already a setup and an establishment out there in Rio Verde. He could secure the permits, the approvals, design and build the infrastructure, and I think less time probably than EPCOR could. But again, I'm not saying that we should eliminate any option that's out there. Happy to collaborate. Testament to Mr. Bruns' character and his commitment to the community is that he provides ongoing support to the Rural Metro Fire Department, providing them with water trucks and personnel at no cost. So anyhow, the only reason I really spoke today, I was really just going to listen to see what was said, but thank you, Director Abenow, for bringing us to your attention. The Dynamite Water is willing and able to work with everyone and anyone, or prepare or start, with your permission, a public utility and provide water to the Rio Verde Foothills community. Really a comprehensive community solution I think would be ideal for everyone. And if you have any questions, I'm open to them.
Okay, thank you. We'll see it. Commissioner Kennedy, any questions? No? Commissioner Olson?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. I wondered if you had any estimates on what the price per gigallon would be under the proposal that you're bringing forward, or the...
Yes, and similar to what EPCOR had to say is that at this point in time, it's so premature because yes, it might be a little bit less expensive than EPCOR, but maybe not because we have to start a whole public utility. So it may be the same as EPCOR. We don't know that, but we can't put any numbers on the table at this point in time. We're not ready. And what we'd like to do is have the opportunity, and then moss does not grow under Mr. Bruns's feet. He will be on top of it, and we will be on top of it to get whatever needs to get done. But the beautiful thing, like I said, is that we have immediate solutions for the community, so that even if Scottsdale does cut it off at the end of the year, that we can fill that gap until something permanent comes up, or be the permanent solution.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm just looking at the table. As you mentioned, I do see that now that this was in the letter that you submitted that our staff put into the docket. But it looks like you had listed the capital cost, the estimated capital cost, as $6.5 million. It sounds like EPCOR is saying that that's about the same range that they would have to invest in order to provide this solution as well. So it sounds like we're probably talking about comparable costs for the water rates as well.
Well, with Damon, I had put $6.5 million, but keeping in mind that EPCOR's solution, starting at the $6.5 million, does not include the land and the wells and the infrastructure, right? So that $6.5 million for Dynamite Water would include all of that, I believe.
Madam Chair, I'd love to hear EPCOR. I see some confused looks. It sounds like, to me, what I heard was that they were saying that the all-in capital cost estimate was about $6 to 7 million, and I'm seeing head nods there as well. So it sounds like it's pretty comparable in the estimates.
The letter that and I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but the letter said that excludes infrastructure and land and drilling of wells, that was just for, I can't remember what it was, so I probably shouldn't quote. But I know that they didn't include land for sure. I haven't read it recently. But I don't think they were comparable. But like I say, in the final analysis, Commissioner Olson, it might be comparable because we would have to totally come up to speed with what EPCOR already has. What they already have in place is that they are a public utility. We would have to become a public utility, and that would probably cost us that difference.
Thank you. And at the appropriate time, Madam Chair, I would love to hear a clarification from EPCOR.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And I also pulled that open and wanted to point out the date. August 30th is the day it's in our docket, in case, as commissioners, you're looking for that chart. Commissioner Tovad, any questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one follow-up. What is this company's water source, and have they secured it, and if so, for how long?
It would be the same, basically the same water sources as EPCOR would have and more. As I said, Mr. Bruns has been in communication with several folks who have water rights around the valley, and has been talking with Scottsdale about wheeling that water, and is open to discussing wheeling that water through EPCOR as well. But we'd both be having the same discussions with perhaps similar people.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just to follow up, so as to date, this company does not have a permanent water source for the work it's currently doing.
No, it does not. It does have 4 wells, but again, those are private wells, and so they would have to be converted to non-exempt wells in order to be able to use those.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Connor?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for your information, we don't give permission to anybody for anything. The process begins with you applying to us. Staff would work with you to perfect that application. And in that, you would be answering all the questions, and then we would consider it and up for a vote.
Oh, excellent.
To issue a CC&N, which would allow you a designated service territory.
Thank you for that clarification,
Yeah.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Of
for
course.
joining us.
Thank you for
Appreciate
your
that.
time.
And I was going to invite Mr. Crockett. Did you want to speak to us? I don't see you listed on my sheet. No, you're good. Okay. Okay, we'll move then into public comments.
Madam Chair, could I hear a follow-up from EPCOR?
Oh, certainly.
Just
Mr.
in response
Lozano?
to that one question on that
Sure.
clarification.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Olson, actually, I went back to my letter. Thanks, Jeff. I actually had cited $4 to $5 million of infrastructure, but did not include land or the cost of water in that. And so that could get us up to 6.5 million easily. I think maybe, and it might be that Dynamite's the best option. EPCOR is not claiming that it is. I think we bring some advantages to the table, but if we were to move forward, I would say we would definitely owe it to those customers to go talk to Dynamite and make sure that either they're the better, like less expensive option, or others, or a blend of the two. I mean, that would absolutely have to be part of our due diligence before we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions before I move into public comments? No? Okay.